Y'all might be thinking we're getting really fancy in camp today, but we're not. We're just cooking up a classic French dish, chicken cordon bleu, but we are going to put the cowboy touch on it. We are panko breadcrumbs. We got 2 kinds of cheese in there. We are bringing this French dish right into camp. Hey, welcome back to the wagon. We are sure glad to be here. The good Lord blessed us again. We got a little rain again, so things have sort of greened up. But what are we talking about? Cowboy version of chicken cordon bleu. Yes.
You have to say bleu.
Chicken cordon bleu.
Yep.
It sounds like you're trying to spit it out. But it is a French dish, really a classic dish. I'd never seen it till we was in a restaurant one time and Shan ordered it, and folks, it is rather tasty. You know, we'd like to thank the folks at Chef's Temp for sponsoring this video. The final touch is a must-have, especially when you're cooking a dish like this on chicken, because we really want to probe that chicken to make sure we get the accurate temperature internal-wise when that chicken is just right done. You don't want to overcook it, and you sure don't want to undercook it, and we're going to rely on the Final Touch Pro we are. Well, you know, when you're fixing cordon bleu, the traditional way really is with breadcrumbs. But a lot of times when you be using panko like that and stuff, they don't really brown up. They'll be splotchy from one side to the other. Really, you need to toast your breadcrumbs first. So you just take about a cup of them, pour them in there. If you got a sheet pan at home, preheat your oven to about 350 degrees. Spray it with a little butter spray or something, mix it up a little, give it another spray. In a preheated oven, you're not going to bake them, but maybe 3 to 5 minutes is all it's going to take. Out here, it will take a little longer, and that time we heat the Dutch oven and the insert that's in it. Well, it didn't take long in that Dutch oven to get them breadcrumbs, that panko, really golden brown. Just keep an eye on that. You don't want to over toast them, but you want to give them a really good even browning effect all the way across. And let's talk about chicken. Now, 4 to 6 ounces is really what I recommend, but if you can go more like 4 to 5 ounces, it's even better. Your cook time is going to be pretty close to probably 30-35 minutes. So just make sure you get a really smaller chicken breast, and you got to cut that pocket just right in the dead center of the breast. Don't go plumb to the back side, but you can see, oh, we did on that one. So that is Kent's mistake. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to go right back over here. Try not to go so deep with the knife this time. Start right in the center and just come over. Go ahead and peel that. I swear we done it again.
You did it again?
Yes, but we'll make that one work. We will. Now, a lot of people will be using that little thin sliced deli ham. Me, I don't like to do that, but I do like to cut this on the thinner side if you can. Maybe I won't mess it up like I did the chicken, but we'll just keep cutting down through here. That is a little thicker than deli ham, but that's what we're after. Go ahead and just run your knife all the way down through there. Try to keep an even thickness. I like them Kentucky Legend hams. I think they're really good. This is a fully cooked ham. You could just eat it right like it is, but it's going to bake up in there so nice in the middle of that chicken. So let me put this back in the icebox. Traditionally, only thing that ever went in chicken cordon bleu was Swiss cheese. And the reason that it's got the ham on there is to protect the cheese from running out so fast. But folks, I'm gonna go ahead and change this up a little. Y'all knew I would. And we got a piece of pepper jack cheese as well. And then we're gonna top that with what? One more slice of good Swiss cheese. And then just roll it up as tight as possible. So when you get it rolled up, you got a pocket for it to fit in, which is right over here. Now, everybody be telling you, you should use toothpicks to pin this with. Well, I really found out this morning that if you use these wooden skewers, make sure you get down through that bottom to pierce it, then you can come back up. It's just like lacing a shoe, and then come back again. Make sure everybody gets back in there. And I had trouble at times finding where the toothpick was. So I'm gonna leave it just that long right there. That way we'll know we can pull that out a whole lot easier.
That is a good tip.
So let's put contestant number 1 right over there. Go back with our cheese and our ham. Roll it up again. Well, I'm gonna tell you from experience here, since this has already happened, when you slice that, start at the top of that chicken really and sort of go at a little bit of angle. Don't go very deep and then just roll that back to see where you're at, because that way you're going to know have you went too deep already. We are to the point to where everybody in the chicken family is going to participate. 2 cackleberries. We're just going to whisk these 2 eggs up to give us a good coating to hold them breadcrumbs in place and to seal up all our open spaces. Turn them over, get them coated really well all the way around. Lay it right there in them breadcrumbs. Just sprinkle you some seasoning. My seasoning is a mixture of garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, and a little ground mustard. That's all we're after. Then you just need to coat it and pat it. Make sure that everybody gets some love from the breadcrumbs. Make sure the ends, when you get to them, just poke it back up here to where you're sealing them ends really good. And if you see something you don't think is covered, get you a spoon, dredge you a little more of that egg on there, and then just pat it down and you'll be good to go. Now if you're cooking this in the house, remember, preheated oven, 350 degrees, and you can use a cast iron skillet to put it in or a sheet pan, whatever you got. It's going to cook about, I'd say, close to 30-35 minutes. Keep an eye on it. You just want to make sure when you probe that chicken that you're coming out at 165 when it is done. Now out here in a Dutch oven, things are a little bit different and there is a breeze today. Now we started out using the same lid them coals were on when we toasted the panko, so didn't want to waste them coals. And then pretty medium heat, I would say, around the outside edge on the bottom. We will have to rotate the way the wind is blowing, and we probably will have to slow this down so we don't burn the bottom of them breadcrumbs. To slow heat down when you're cooking in a Dutch oven, pull the heat farther away from it. But remember, in this wind today, and Shan's going to show you Old Glory up there blowing in a minute, it's going to really speed things up, so we're going to have to rotate top and bottom more often. Remember to start out with less coals than what you think you need, because you can always add to it if you need it. Well, while that there chicken is baking in that Dutch oven, folks, this is really what I think the star of the show is. And I do love a good sauce on something. I think it goes back to my childhood days of having gravy on everything. 6 tablespoons of Kerrygold butter. Since we're making something fancy, Cordon Bleu, we're going to use the Dijon mustard. And we're going to take it and we're going to put the right amount in there, which is just that much right there. But folks, we're going to jazz that up, son. If I can remember what I done with that spoon that I was carrying around. There it is. We're going to use sour cream. And we're just going to put 1 heaping tablespoon in there. I want you to get your whisk and get that incorporated. It'll take a little while, but you got this over medium-low heat. Then we're going to add something you didn't know was in there, and what is that? Parmesan cheese. Oh my gosh, it'll go with this dish so well, it will. Now, once you get that cheese in there, I want you to keep stirring over medium-low heat till that cheese and everything smooths out. And then I just want you to set it aside over there. We'll warm it up one more time right before we get to pour it on that chicken when it comes out of that Dutch oven. Well, we've probably been on close to 18 to 20 minutes. We have rotated twice. We have backed the coals off the Dutch oven just a little and got rid of some of the heat on the top. But folks, we need to be breaking out the probe and find out what's going on in here. Whew. We're going to break out the final touch here. And folks, what I like about this, as soon as you open this, it don't think, well, I got to think about it. What temperature is it? No, it just goes ahead and shows it to me right off the bat. So we're going to probe this in the thickest part of that chicken, which is about there. This one shows 155, so we're getting really close. We are. This one over here is a little thinner, so we're about 150 on that. So we still like just a little because we want to reach that magical temperature of 165. And folks, I really love this color. Not only is it Oklahoma State orange, but I can lay this down somewhere and find it because I'm notorious at leaving something laying out. But they have a lot of great colors. I like that instant read. And even if we over here, it'll show it to you whichever side you go to. it's going to show you what temperature you need. They are handy dandy tools. Don't be without one. Look at yonder. I mean, that cheesy goodness is right in there. That Swiss and that pepper jack done a job.
I'll tell you though what my favorite part is.
What's that?
The ooey cheese that like
This
squishes out the back and then like kind of.
This right here is your favorite piece, ain't it? So we're going to save that piece for Shan. This is pretty fancy night dining, so I'm going to put my fork right here. I'm going to cut this one off right there. Do the chicken wiggle. Then you got to get out on the ground. Major's looking at Dad like, what is wrong with you? The chicken is really tender. You get that crunch from that panko, but when you pair that up with really the taste of the ham brings a little saltiness to it, but also you get that mustard sauce that's in there, folks. It's goodness in every bite. I think the French folks would be proud. They might even say something like thank you or s'il vous plaît or something like that, but I think they'd be proud. Well, I would like to really thank the folks at Chef's Temp for sponsoring this video. And folks, when you're cooking chicken, whether it's on the grill, in a Dutch oven, frying it in the house, whatever you're doing, you got to bring that chicken up to that safe temp. What is that? 165 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't emphasize to you enough, you got to have a probe thermometer that you can trust. And folks, you can trust this one, Chef's Temp Final Touch. They're going to give you a special discount. The link will be down there below to where you can purchase one of these. And folks, one of the greatest things about it that I really love too is I never have to look for it because I just stick it right there. It is magnetized, and I know I can find it. So you can hang it on the ice box, you can hang it anywhere that there's a piece of metal, and you are good to go. So I have y'all both some fancy chicken. Meiji, thank you. Big, wait. You're such a good boy, you got manners. You have done it all, my friend. We love you a bunch. Good job. But it is with special pride and honor and a privilege to tip my hat to all the servicemen and women and all the veterans who have kept that old flag a-flying up there. We appreciate you one and all, we do. Rest of you, come on in here. Come on in here, I'm gonna give you one of them French hugs today. It's like this, la la la, la la la. No, y'all know me better than that. God bless you each and every one, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pick it up and show it to you right off the bat. We'll see you down the Cordon Bleu chicken trail.